You had no question in that song that John Denver was committed to life and to live fully. It reminds me of that just short, brief line of a poem of the American poet, a line in the poem of Mary Oliver, an American poet. And when she asks, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this one wild and precious life that you've been given? You know, it's up to us to put the meaning in our life. We can make our lives important, and we can make them not important. We can make our lives special. We can make them not special. We can make our life a blessing or not. It's up to us. Do you know the Hebrew word for blessing is more life? More life. Meaning we take this gift we've been given, this precious gift, and we keep making more of it. Whether it's doing greater things or bringing more understanding, or as Emily was reading today, bringing more love into everything we do. Mother Teresa said we can't all do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. And so we have a choice what we're going to do with this precious gift we've been given. You know, we live in turbulent times, but so have a lot of other people. Life isn't always peaceful and wonderful and smooth. It's like the ocean, as you were talking about, Em. The ocean has these waves, and sometimes they're peaceful and calm, and sometimes they're thunderous and big. And we live in a life like that, and we get to decide what to do with it. Well, here's what Ernest Holmes said. He said, we are born to be happy. How are you doing on that? To be abundantly supplied with every good thing. Now, the problem here is, not the problem, but the more definition needed on this for me anyway, is good to God isn't the good necessarily that we define it as. We think of good as the things that are easy and peaceful and wonderful, exciting, beautiful, and add whatever adjectives. But God knows that every good thing is anything that makes you more. Understand more, that pulls you into greater understanding, greater knowing, greater connection. Whatever it is, there's a moreness there, a goodness there that we need greater definition of. My life is good. My life is good. No, but we have to understand that goodness is defined in different ways. Anyway, and then he said to have fun in living. So again, it's, oh, look, I lost my earring. It's something I got too excited about that whole thing, about that goodness thing. Anyway, he said to have fun in living and to continually, and this is what I'm going to talk about today with our heart as a compass, which I'll talk about in a minute, is to consciously unite with the divine power that is around us, in us, and flowing through us. We're to do that all the time. And when we do that, then our heart can be our compass. And he ends with, and to grow and expand forever. I read this little story about a river, a little river. And the river was thinking of the ocean. And he called out to the ocean, how do I find my way to you? And the ocean replied, you don't find your way to me. You become the way. And that's what it means by letting your heart be your compass. You know, we've heard it said the furthest distance in the world is between your head and your heart. We're given a human mind and a human heart. And that distance is pretty dang far because our human mind likes to do just what we read up there. What was that word? Control. It likes to control things, and it likes to be critical and tell you where you're not doing so well. And it likes to dominate our thought process. And our human heart can suffer for that. It can suffer because our human heart holds all our feelings, and it can suffer. But we also have that, this is the good news. We're part of a divine mind and a divine heart. And the divine heart is our spiritual compass. When we said, let your heart be your compass, it's our spiritual heart that is our compass. It holds, well, number one, it's the place where God speaks, Spirit speaks, the divine speaks. The divine speaks to us through our heart because God speaks in a universal language of feeling, and it's a feeling that everybody understands. So we don't need to worry about having a dictionary to define different words. Oh, Dill's studying French right now, I just found out. I'm proud of you, girl. Forget it. You can teach me 1 or 2 words. That's it. But anyway, we don't need a little dictionary to study words. It's right here. We can tell the feeling. But we need our divine mind plugged in to translate that. If we don't have that connection, our feelings just become loosey-goosey and our mind can go crazy. It can really start building up some things that really aren't true. That spiritual compass has 3 attributes that I think are so true. It is our true north, but not north like the directions on the earth, but the north up there, the hand of Spirit. It's consistent. No matter what's going on in this crazy life of ours, there's a place within us that holds the truth that is unchangeable. The truth that is consistent, pure, and unchangeable. Also, that compass is always aligned to the something greater. So when you feel stuck, chaotic, wherever you are, there's always something more to be known. Now, the spiritual compass doesn't show us the whole map, but it shows us the next step. It guides us. It leads us towards the something greater. That voice inside, the voice of Spirit, is always affirmative. So if you ever wonder, well, is that really the voice of Spirit? Well, is that an affirmative? It doesn't mean you want to do it, but it's an affirmative message for us always that we need to listen to. And the other thing is it will always be clear if we can be still enough. And that's where we have to get our human mind get so distracted, at least mine, with the noise of the world. Does yours get distracted with the noise of the world and everything that's calling and wanting to be heard and known? And there's so much. And we need to take time to be still and know that right where we are, there is something so much greater. So that's for us to know. Now, when I'm talking about our spiritual compass being in the heart, this is not anything new. Lao Tzu, thousands and thousands of years ago, I think it's thousands and thousands, well, 1,000, whatever. Anyway, said at the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. It's always there. We can't doubt. What is it we have to do? Okay, you got this half of the room wins. You guys, we're going to need a little tutorial program, okay? Do you remember what was up on the screen, that word? That's what we have to do, because our spiritual compass will only work as well as we trust it. We need to trust it and know. We can't cure the sorrows of the world, but we can cure ourselves. And I want to tell you, we cure ourselves with spiritual practice, because this world gets noisy and loud, the physical world, but inside of us there's the riches of the universe. We have to have time to quiet ourselves. Now, this does not mean when we go down to our spiritual practices of knowing that life is good, God's will for us is always goodness and always a more abundant life, when we can know a greater truth that we are powerful beyond measure, when we can know all those things, we can't always wipe away our tears. Can't do it. Just can't. There's too many things that are too precious and sad. We can't wipe away the tears. But when we do our spiritual practice, we can make those tears holy, because we can understand they're part of the process, that there's something more at work. We can understand that part of it, that there is holiness at work right here and right now, if we can take time to reach into the heart. If you think of a sunflower in a big field. How many of you like sunflowers? I love sunflowers. They're just beautiful. I mean, they're commanding. And they even come little ones and big ones. Oh, I love them. But when they're in the field, they don't grow and go, well, I wonder which way the sun's going to come up today. I wonder what angle it's going to be. I wonder if there's some clouds over there. What am I going to... The sunflower just keeps turning and turning and turning towards what gives it life. And that's the message for us today. Can we turn ourselves towards what gives us life and feed ourselves? It doesn't mean we can turn away from all the hard stuff. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to go through and beyond. We're not supposed to do the spiritual bypass and say everything's perfect when it's not, because I'm going to tell you something, and you might not like me for it, but that's okay. Just don't like me for a minute, but then like me later. Everyone is broken. Everybody's broken. I mean, nobody here isn't broken. We're all broken, but we aren't broken apart. We're just broken. Now, if you don't believe me, I have a little proof here from some people you might know. Ernest Holmes says, we are all broken. That's the way the light gets in. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, there's a crack in everything that God made. That's how the light gets in. Rumi says, don't turn your head, keep looking at the bandaged place. That's where the light enters you. But don't believe for a moment that it is you doing the healing. That's what we have to remember. That's the something greater we all have to realize. We keep thinking, oh, we're doing the healing. How's this cut on my arm healing? There's the wisdom within us that knows. And if it can heal a scratch, a pain, a hurt on the arm, how much more can that same healing presence do? That's for us to know. That's definitely for us. So the spiritual work. Now the spiritual work is, you know those broken parts? We got to work on them. Because our emotional responses really, they decide our conduct in the world. You know, in our human heart, we have a lot of pain. We hold a lot of sorrow, a lot of regret, a lot of anger, a lot of lack of forgiveness. And we need to retrain our minds and hearts when they're together to think better thoughts, things that feed us, things that make us alive. That's why I said when you come to the prayer wall today, I want you to think, what is the thing you can do for yourself to make you feel more connected to this greater good that's at work in all of us? It's up to us. We need our spiritual compass to be turned on, that we can make that space for it to show. Now, open or close me. I said that for sure. So we can, I love this. I read this and I really liked it. So I'll say something else first. Jesus said, blessed are the pure in heart because they see God. We can't see God if we don't have that open pathway to see that something greater. That's beautiful. I love it. And in Proverbs, it is said, as a person thinks in their heart, so will they be. So that's our conduct. We need to start retraining, readjusting our emotional feelings about things so we can show up in a brighter way, so our light can be shining a bit brighter, and we can do our work in a little more holy and wonderful way. This is very interesting to me. And Janet, Reverend Janet, I didn't know if you know this, but the Roman philosopher Plotinus, I believe that's how you pronounce it, defines virtue as our tendency toward unity. Isn't that beautiful? He defined virtue as our tendency toward unity, coming together as we practice and live the virtues, and they become the guiding light in our light. It brings us together. It brings us together. As you were saying, Em, our light is what we're afraid of the most, but let's turn it on with our virtues and start opening ourselves to something more. Now, integrity comes from Latin, meaning to make whole. So integrity is a virtue and to make whole. So you and I are going to be living this life of letting our heart be our compass, but it's the spiritual heart. Too often we let our emotional heart that's all choppy and mixed up and confused and rattled be our compass. We got to go deeper. Remember, we go deep and go beyond. We go beyond so we can reach higher and reach better. So I want you to just close your eyes for it's only going to be like 10 seconds, maybe 15. But anyway, close your eyes for just a minute. Put your feet on the ground. And if you come to our prayer wall, great. If you don't come to the prayer wall, I still want you to work on it. What is one thing right now that's holding you back, closing you off from being the open vessel, the open experience of love, of light, of possibility, whatever it is? What is something? Is it control? Is it anger you're holding on to? Is it resentment? Is it self-doubt? What is it that you're holding on to that's allowing you to block that beautiful passageway from the head to the heart, from the human divine mind to the human divine heart, that we could have that passageway that allows us to be a greater light, a greater love, a greater connection in this world? Let that just come up. You can just ask yourself, what closes me off? What shuts me down? What thought? What idea? What emotion? There is an ancient saying that says when a dove flaps its wings in China, it creates wind currents that shift for thousands and thousands of miles over mountains and seas. This is a metaphor that is simply telling us that everything we do has a ripple effect. Everything we do ripples out to others, that we are all interconnected, and that we have a responsibility to care for ourselves and to care for others, for future generations. I think this is so, don't you?